Loving a spouse who has challenges with health or mental health can be a really interesting journey. And I've shared a lot about our healing journey. And what really struck me recently is just this idea that me and my husband, we are really trying to find a way to heal together, but doing so in a way that, for me at least, I'm not losing myself in his state, in his condition. Hey, I'm Sam, and this is The Phoenix Table, raw stories from the fire for people rising out of the messy middle. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, pull up a chair, and join us, because we all rise better together. And that can be really tough, especially when you do love someone so incredibly much. And many people reached out to me after our first couple I'm Not Okay episodes and expressed that they've gone through something similar with their spouses. So today I wanted to share a little bit more about that journey behind the scenes, what it's looked like for me, in case it may be helpful for others. Because there really is that caretaker dilemma when it comes to this. And while I'm not my husband's keeper, I do feel I have a responsibility to ensure that he is in an environment where he can feel safe to heal, as well as making sure that I am also getting what I need. Because it can be really easy to forget that you're still your own person with your own emotions, your own life, really, outside of your marriage. And it's important for me to be able to express as well, and doing so in a way that creates that safety. Because what I've found is that I have a real fear of sharing my dark days, of sharing my dark thoughts, my sadness, my frustration, my anger, because I don't want to trigger my husband and be the cause of an episode. And what ends up happening is that fear suppresses my ability to communicate my feelings. And then we're in a loop. I hold back my emotions. Then we feel disconnected because feel I can't share. He has no idea what's going on and he's not hearing from me. So he feels disconnected and then he gets sad. His sadness now causes me to feel as if I've done something wrong and that I can't share. And then he gets sad that I'm not sharing. And it becomes a spiral and it becomes a loop. And that loop is not fair to either of us. I don't know about you, listener, but I feel that it's really important that we have vulnerability and transparency on both sides of this marriage in order not only to heal ourselves individually, but also to heal ourselves as a married couple. And I've struggled with this idea that my emotions are equally valid and that we are not actually protecting each other by holding back. This has been a really, really difficult part of the healing journey. Because for me, although I know I'm not to blame for the particular episode that kind of started this journey, I do feel very responsible for ensuring the foundation and stability of my family. My husband, as you all know, does struggle with depression, but I also have a son who's also on the spectrum, and I have a little girl too, who's in the middle of all of this. And so part of me does wonder sometimes whether or not I should share. So I've been working through that, and I have been really talking to a lot of people who are similar in my position as, being the spouse that is supporting the other through a health journey, in this case, a mental health journey. And what I'm finding, which is a tough lesson to learn, is that it's important for me to honor myself in this equation too, and that it's not selfish. It's actually the opposite. It's necessary for my relationship to be strong. The challenge that I've had is that I have struggled with finding the right way and the right time to share. So I am in a marriage where we have two very different communication styles. I am a boisterous, talk it out, get it out verbally to diffuse the situation type of person. I deal with a lot of what's going on in my life by talking about it. No surprise, I guess, because I have a podcast, but that's okay. Um, Whereas my husband, on the other end, is very introspective thinker. And when he's upset or when he's kind of working through something, he needs space and he needs quiet. And so you can see how both of us going through this healing journey together, we've created accidentally a lot of tension in our relationship because what I need is so opposite to what he needs. And if we're both working through something at the same time, you could see where it's kind of an infinity loop, that spiral that I was talking about. And I don't think that we've quite figured it out yet, but one of the things that we've been working on is a verbal contract that says essentially, what do I need to do to know and to establish that it is safe and acceptable for me in this scenario to basically vent, and he is ready to listen and listen without taking it on. And similarly, for him, it's about giving him the space so that when he is going through something, we have this contract where if I ask the question, how are you doing or what's going on, I have to pause and wait and accept that he may not be able to verbalize that, and that it's not a sign that I've triggered him. It's not a sign that I've done something wrong, but that this is the way that he is processing. And in those situations, it could be really difficult for someone like me because, verbal communication, like I said, is my way of coping and dissecting and understanding. And I can still have that. We just have agreed that I need to check first. Hey, I had a really bad day. I'm really frustrated with X, Y, and Z. Would it be okay if I vented to you a little bit? Most of the time, he's probably going to say yes, but it prepares him to be there to support me and vice versa. And so, in this reflection of what the healing together journey looks like, I am also finding that putting my needs not in front of his or before his, but really putting my needs on equal level and being a true partnership in this is the way forward for us to break the loop, break the cycle, create and maintain that feeling of connection and vulnerability, but to do so in a space that feels safe for both of us so that he doesn't feel that I'm attacking him with what is going on in my life or that he feels responsible for it, and vice versa, that I'm not responsible for how he's feeling, but that I can be there to help him manage it and help support him through it. As a spouse married to someone going through a journey like this, what I have come to realize and come to accept is that his mental state is not within my control. And because it's not within my control, it's not entirely my responsibility. What is within my responsibility is to foster a environment of comfort and safety when either one of us is having one of those days where we just don't feel our best. And so if you find yourself in a relationship similar to this, it doesn't even have to be in a marriage. It could be with a significant other. It could be with a family member or even potentially with a friend going through something like this. I want to invite you to question, where am I silencing myself to keep the peace? How does that make you feel? And what would it look like to share one honest feeling this week with the other person? Can you create a verbal contract so that both of you get what you need in those scenarios and that you can both have an open communication between the two? I am not perfect. My marriage is not perfect. But this little bit has really helped us to start to find our footing in our healing journey. And healing together is not about perfection. It's about choosing connection over silence again and again and again until we've completely broken that cycle and we've created a consistent environment of love and safety and vulnerability so that we feel connected and that we feel we can continue to be connected regardless of the situation around us. So know if you're going through something like this, I know how hard it is. I really do. And I feel for you. And I think there's little things we can do every single day to make it just a little bit better. And all those tiny improvements compound upon each other. And for us, many, many months from now, I hope we look back and we look at these scenarios. I re-listen to these episodes and I go, wow, look how far we've come. Because that is really what happens here. Healing is a journey. There's a starting point, but I don't know if there's truly a destination. And I think that's why it's so important to pay attention to what's happening along the way, to celebrate the little wins and keep compounding on them. Every day is a new day. Every day is a new beginning. And for us, as long as we're trying, I think that's the most important thing. Thank you for joining me on the Phoenix Table. If you enjoyed today's episode, please like, review, and subscribe, and make sure to share this story with someone who might need to hear it. Remember, we rise better together.